Ollie, I hear you're the guy to talk to about, I don't know, monsters and mythical creatures and stuff. I said, yeah, I guess I am. What sort of monster are you facing? He said, well, I'm not facing it exactly at all. In fact, quite the opposite. Having trouble motivating one. I said, well, what do you mean? He said, well, I bought this house and I paid extra, a lot extra, because it was advertised as a walking house. They told me it would get up and walk around. And I thought that was amazing, and I wanted it, so I paid extra for it. More than the house would be worth is just a house. But I, for the life of me, can't figure out how to make the thing go. Huh, I said. Well, I can come by this afternoon around 2, if that works for you. Yeah. So I did a little bit of research about walking houses, and there was nearly nothing to be found. He didn't find anything anyway. So he went over there with kind of a blank slate. The house itself, it did look sort of like a creature, the way it was built. I mean, it looked like a house, but you could imagine it being like a beetle, too. It had there was a bigger back section, and then a smaller sort of front portico. And there weren't any legs exactly, but there were windows along the ground into the basement, I guessed. At position, the place where you might imagine 6 legs, and it had 2 big windows in the front that kind of looked like eyes. You could imagine it getting up and moving around. But it also, was a house. So I went up and knocked on the door, and this guy came to the door. I said, yeah, hi, thank you, Ollie, for coming. Thank you, Ollie. I said, yeah, sure, no problem. So this is your house, and it's supposed to walk. It's supposed to get up and walk. I said, how would the utilities and stuff like that work if that happened? I don't know. I asked about that, and the person I bought it from said that the house figures that out. Disconnects it and reconnects it later. I don't know exactly. Well, I said, this sounds a little fanciful. Are you sure you weren't just, taken advantage of? He said, well, I mean, I'm not sure now, but I don't think so. I mean, they seem pretty sure. They had photos of themselves with the house. It's up on legs and moving. I guess it could have all been an elaborate fake, but it seemed so convincing at the time. I said, all right, well, let's think here. I assume you've looked around for some sort of mysterious switch or button or knob or something like that. I said, yeah. Or the guy said, yeah, I looked all around. All the switches, they turn on lights or whatever. All the knobs open doors. There's just no... Yeah, I looked pretty thoroughly. I mean, maybe you could look too. I said, all right, let me take a look around. So I only poked all through the house, looking for some unexplained doodad of some kind, but it's weird. But there was nothing. Then Ollie thought that he'd found it, because on the upper floor, in the master bedroom, which is in the front, there was a closet. And Ollie noticed in the back of the closet, down low, big enough for a person to climb through, but they'd be climbing through, there was a door. Now I thought, here we go. And there's got to be some kind of control room or switch or something. So he slid the door back, got his flashlight out, and made his way in there, and no, it was just some space underneath the roof, behind the closet, above the floor. It's just a place you could stuff a suitcase or something. There's nothing. So I went back out to the front. And it did look like a beetle, the house. He thought, what could you... How would you... He sat there and he thought. thought. He thought, and he thought, and he thought, and he thought, what does a house want? Wants to be lived in, I assume. Wants to be maintained. And then it came to Ollie. He called the guy out and said, hey, do you have any cash? I said, cash? Yeah, I think I have some. Like dollar bills or something? Yeah, I think I probably have like $10 in dollar bills up in my bedroom. So bring them out here. I said, okay. He went and got the bills, and it was actually $12. Ollie fanned the bills out like he was holding a deck of cards, and raked them against one of his tentacles that made kind of a noise. And all of a sudden there was a stirring. Ollie kept doing it. The house began to shift a little bit. And then Ollie balled up the money and threw it across the lot. And with that, the house stood up. It had legs underneath of it somehow. And it chased after that wad of bills like a dog after a tennis ball. Now, Ollie and the client weren't quite sure how it was that the house picked up the ball. But the ball was gone, they're sure of that. And the house came trotting back, pleased as punch, and looked at them both. Seemed to be looking anyway. The guy said, so I throw money at it? I don't understand. I said, well, if there's something, I rent now, but I've owned a house, and it seems like houses always need some money to be put into them. So I thought, maybe that's what will wake the house up, and looks like it did. So now you know the trick for waking the house up. Now it's up to you to figure out, I don't know, how to train it, what to do with it. Good luck. The guy stood there perplexed, stared at the house. The house stared back at him. He said, hi. And the house nodded. He said, should we go on an adventure? And the house crouched down its front legs so that the stairs in the front of the house were touching the ground. The guy thought, all right, Ollie, I'm gonna roll with this. And he went up the stairs, and the house stood back up. And the guy took a seat on the front porch and said, let's go. And off they trotted into the sunset. And I thought, wow, that was pretty weird. But good for him. He's got his running house, not just walking, trotting anyway. Some things just kind of defy some explanation. But if that hasn't stopped me before, it didn't stop me now. And that was Ollie, in the case of the walking house.